Arden, you got what year's your Vet?
'02.
'02, okay. How long you had it?
Probably 4 years.
What'd you get a Vet for?
We already have a Corvette. We have a 1976 Corvette also.
That's like the third generation or something.
Yeah,
76.
Third generation.
Yeah.
So I like Corvettes, and so I needed a car, and I just decided, okay, I'm going to buy a Corvette.
So you got it 4 years ago.
So yeah.
Now who did the clutch in it? I guess somebody did a clutch in it.
I did the clutch. My son and I.
So you doing this at the house?
Yes.
On your back?
No.
Okay, you got a lift there?
We have a lift.
Oh, okay. You got a lift in your garage.
Yeah.
Got it up in the air, pulled the tranny out to do the clutch.
Right.
And tell me a story that this is a story. Sometimes, you hear stories and you're like, I can't believe that. and Arden told this story to Donald, our service rider.
Yeah.
Don't hold back. Tell me the story.
Well, we're trying to take the pilot bearing out.
Out of the center of the flywheel.
Right. And we went to AutoZone, and the guy at AutoZone says, "Oh, why don't you use the bread trick? You stuff bread inside the pilot bearing."
Now, do you put butter on the bread before you do that?
No.
I'm just kidding.
You stuff bread in there, and then you take something, I don't know what it was, a punch or something like that, and you hit it, and that pushes out the pilot bearing. Okay? So then it worked very well.
No way.
For pushing the plug in the crank back. So it didn't move the pilot bearing, but I pushed the plug back.
The plug.
There's
a bushing that the bearing goes inside. That's the inside of the crank.
That's in the crank.
Okay.
There's a pilot bearing, and then inside the pilot bearing, it's like a freeze plug, that you have on the side of the engine. Okay.
Okay.
But it's about this big. Okay. And the freeze plug is in the crank. And we did a very good job of pushing that freeze plug back. I believe it opened up into the oil gallery. You put it in there a little piece at a time. And then pound it in there. But the heel is stiffer than regular.
That's why my little kids, when they were little, they didn't want to eat it because it was they had to chew it. They just wanted to swallow.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a whole heel, or is there two heels of bread in there?
Well, it's gone now because we did finally take out the pilot bearing.
Okay.
And then we cleaned it all out, and that's when I saw
that plug is sideways.
It looked like it was all the way almost into the oil gallery.
See this look on my face? This is a look of, now, it could have an oil galley plug, and they look like a freeze plug in the back of the crank. I've never paid attention, and I'm gonna, and so what you're saying, now you start up the car and you've got a massive oil leak.
Oh, no. I didn't start the car.
Okay.
It looked like this freeze plug had twisted. So I said, okay, stop.
But you put the tranny back in it,
So we put it all back together.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm just going to pull the engine. I don't want to do that job again. That was a big job. I'd never done it before, but we did it, and we took it apart. We put it back in.
Put the tranny back in.
Put the tranny back in.
Got the drive lane and everything.
Yeah, all that back in.
You had it towed here, right? Or did you
yes,
drive?
no, we towed it.
Okay.
So we were also doing a oil change at the same time.
Okay, so is the oil out of the engine?
So the oil is out of the engine.
Okay, all right.
So we just put the car aside.
We're gonna pull the tranny back out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's explain why the guy at AutoZone probably said that. You can take hydraulic, we wouldn't call it hydraulic pressure because hydro means fluid.
Yeah.
And bread is not a fluid until you eat it, I suppose. But you could take wheel bearing grease, pack it in there, and then take a punch and fill that hole and drive that in there. But what you're saying, that plug in the crank moved, not the pilot bearing.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, folks, this is going to be an interesting video. We're going to pull the tranny out. I guess you've already talked to Donald about that.
Yes.
We're going to pull the tranny out, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. I wanted to say something cute and smart, like this bread mystery, but that doesn't come out good. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll get on it, and we'll be in touch. Okay. The Wonder Bread Vet here. What is this, 2000? 2002 Vette. This is going to be interesting with this guy. He did his own work. You can see he's got a new clutch or a pressure plate in here, throb bearing and stuff, but we got to get this out. In order to get this out, Vette's kind of, this year's a little different. They've got this torque tube, or they call it a driveline tube. I don't think I wouldn't call it a driveline. It's actually the input shaft for the transmission. This thing doesn't really have a, quote, drive line. The transmission is back here, and they do this for weight distribution. And I'll tell you the easiest way to do this, it's not an easy job, but you want to drop this whole third member. You don't really, you're not trying to pull that transmission out of there. You're gonna leave it attached to this third, this rear housing, and just kind of drop the whole thing out of here. All right, you got everything undone up here?
Yeah, got those bolts undone, got the
Line undone?
line undone.
Okay, and we're gonna push this back. Drop that and then push that back a little bit. Okay, so where's the pry bar for here?
Ready? I'm gonna drop it a little.
No, drop it a little bit. We gotta go back with it, dude. Are you down past the studs? So go ahead and go a little more. Hang on. A little more. Keep going.
Okay, I'm past the studs.
Can you pull?
I can pull back now.
Can you pull it back? Here, you can go down a little more. You good? Okay. Hang on.
There we go.
Hang on, let it down just a tad. I mean, just a tad. Okay, keep going back. You gotta keep going back. Keep going back. Hang on. What is this oh, there's electrical wires running down on that. It's in this harness. It's in that thing right there.
There we go.
Got it? Okay, all right, good. Okay, let's go back a little more. About 2 more inches. You can go down a little bit if you want.
Yep.
Okay, can you go back a little more? Okay, pull it back.
And frame. Can I go down some more?
Yeah. Keep going. You can tilt it. Keep going. Keep going. Now I'm going to show you something first off, folks, real quick. See all this grease out here on this throwout bearing? Where do you think that's going to go as soon as we get some centrifugal force? It's going to go right on his clutch disc. Don't be doing this. You want to he's put a light film on the inside of that throwout bearing, but he's put too much grease on it. So it's like silicone, you guys doing gaskets, I've talked to you about it. You don't need a lot of it. He's got way too much grease on here, on that throwout bearing. Go ahead, go back. Tyson, you want to grab the front of this. Okay, stop. Now you can let it down. See, this is ridiculous. Keep going. I'm going as fast as you are, dude. We're okay with that. We don't have to come down much more than this. Here's the other thing. This is a hydraulic slave cylinder, and this is the throwout bearing. This is what pushes on the pressure plate fingers and releases the clutch disc. It looks to me like he's just put a new throwout bearing on it and didn't replace the slave cylinder. No. Look at all the labor I got to do if the slave cylinder goes bad. You replace them as a unit. Don't do that. The little bit of money you're going to spend getting a new slave cylinder with the throwout bearing is a whole lot better than replacing the throwout bearing and then having to come back in it whenever to replace the slave cylinder because it's old. Don't do that. Okay, what we could do is just slide it back. We just need it out of our way here. So we're going to go straight back. Whoa. Easy. I think that's good. That's all we need. Let's go ahead and get this bell housing off of here.
Okay.
And I don't know why you got this jack on here.
Just from just no more weight in the rear.
Oh, that's smart. I appreciate you doing that. Look at that. My tech is thinking. He's put this pole jack here because we're taking all that weight out of the rear, and he doesn't want the car coming off the lift. Caden, you get a gold star today, big man. As many views as that would probably go viral. That's not the kind of viral video I want, so thank you. Give me a long pry bar. Okay, get up in here and get your next one. Get it. Get it. That's the last one. Don't drop the disc.
See what I'm talking about? See that grease? Where do you think that grease is going to go? Right out here on the clutch disc. You might as well just go ahead and put some grease right on your clutch disc.
Don't use that much. You know, I think we're just gonna start this car up.
It has no oil in it.
Time for the bore scope, folks. I don't see any bread in the hole. The guy said he cleaned out all the bread, so I don't see any bread in there. I need to stand on something. This is what you call getting into your work. There is. I'm thinking that crank's got to be hollow. You know, here it is again, folks. I don't know everything. I thought I knew everything about Chevys. I guess I don't. It looks like the inside of that crank is hollow on that rear main because he's knocked the freeze plug. I can see what he's talking about now. He's knocked the freeze plug clean up in that crank. Yeah, let's go see what it looks like. Okay. So I'm coming back out of that. That's that freeze plug. That's the inside of the back end of that crankshaft. Look how see it's sideways and it's got all that crud on there. I wonder if we just put some oil in the engine, start up and see if that thing just starts gushing oil. If it does, then we got a problem. If it don't, I'll leave it in there and be done with it. Learn something every day. Get a ladder, let's put some oil in it. We got a filter. You got the battery out of it?
Battery's out. I was charging it. Just need to pop it in.
You know, what would be easy is if I called the dealer and had him send me a crankshaft and I could just look at the crank, but yeah, right. You can't get a motor for a Corvette this old. They'll tell you to pound sand. I'm not gonna go that route. This is a good question. Does anybody out there see anything like this, you know? Pushing on the brake, be just gentle and just real slow and gentle because I don't want the rear calipers blowing out. Let me get a socket to put in your calipers. Hang on, let her rip, dude. Did you disconnect the starter or anything like that? You know what, I could jump the starter here. Hang on, let me just do that. I got nothing at this starter, dude. Got it hooked up?
Yeah.
Let me see. I got nothing, dude. I don't have any power down here. The oil pressure come up? Really? Okay, hang on a second. I don't see any oil coming out of there. Dry as a bone in there. I don't know whether I want to deal with that. I'll pull the freaking engine out to deal with that. Okay, so here's the question. I've got oil pressure and I don't have any oil leaking out of that freeze plug. I'm saying just leave the dang thing alone. Let's take a look now. Oh my goodness, this doesn't look good. Now we kicked that galley plug sideways because he's pushed it all the way back in there. Oh my goodness, look at that. There it is, oh my goodness. So we gotta get that oil galley, he's definitely gonna have an oil leak. Okay, that wasn't a good idea. Holy moly. Let's see if we can grab that with a hook and pull that out of here. Give me the long needle nose, those red handle ones. Light. Voila! You can see how he's bowed that out. Man, that was a big mistake. Guys, don't use bread or any hydraulic pressure on an LS motor to get the oil galley plug out of it. It's gonna cause you a nightmare. All right, we just gotta clean that up because he's got some, crap in there. It looks like old pieces of bread. Okay, and clean up that out. And then we're gonna get I'll have Joey size that plug and put it in there for you. Wow. Anyway, it looks like we can get him fixed without pulling the motor, so that's gonna be good news. Let's call the customer. Arden, this is David, Dave's Auto.
Hello.
Well, we found out what that plug is. That plug is not an oil, it is an oil galley plug, and yeah, it looks just like a freeze plug, and you had it kicked sideways, so you did the right thing. You could have drove down here, but you had a little bit of an oil leak, but we were able to dig it out of there, and clean up the hole, and we're going to install, we haven't put it in yet, but I just got it out, and it looks like we'll be able to get an oil galley plug or freeze plug. It's the same thing, just a different name since it's dealing with oil instead of antifreeze. And we'll put it back in there. I'll have to get a new pilot bearing because we destroyed yours getting it out of there. Did you disable this car so it wouldn't start with the battery in it or something? I know you didn't have any oil in the engine, but did you pull something else off?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I just was wondering. I guess that's it. I guess, we'll use your old clutch. I think that it looked fine in your pressure plate, and we'll get it all back in. Now, in the future, the right pilot bearing tool would be your key to success and happiness on this thing.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. The one that we used wouldn't fit in there.
I think I probably have about 6 or 7 different ones for just for that reason. Different size, application. It's not one size fits all. But anyway, we got it all straightened out, and we'll get her back together and probably talk to you in a couple of days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, another successful job fixing a mess up. Always like that, and it's not too much of a disaster. So cool, we were able to help somebody out. Here's the pilot bearing tool. Sometimes if you don't have the right tool, it pays. I'm sure, I don't know what this thing costs, but there's different pilot bearing tools. There's that one, there's a slide hammer one with little hooks. I'm not a big fan of this one because it really won't, it just, on a light pilot bearing, on like maybe an import it might work, but there's different ways to get them out. And it would have paid this guy to go find the right tool so that we didn't have to do all this.